Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, guys. How are you? All of you are always in a good condition since this pandemic COVID-19 is still exists till now. So tonight we are going to have a debate session with this motion. This House believes that omnibus law ratification can rapidly increase economic growth in Indonesia. So before we start the debate, let me introduce myself first. My name is Abhinav Setiatama as a chairperson. So let's start the debate session. We are start from the first speaker from affirmative team, Vinta Intan Sari as a prime minister. Vinta, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. My name is Vinta Sari as Prime Minister. So today's motion is believe that omnibus law ratification can rapidly increase economic growth in Indonesia. The definition of omnibus law. So, quote from the official website of the Indonesian Parliament, the term omnibus comes from the Latin, which means for everything. Meanwhile, the meaning of the omnibus law is a law that simultaneously reviews several laws to target major issues in a country. The omnibus law, known as the global sweeping law, is intended to streamline and simplify various regulations to make them more targeted. The omnibus law will amend dozens of laws that are considered to hinder investment, including the manpower law. At least there are 74 laws that are giving formal consents and treaty construct or agreement, making it officially valid. And then economic growth can be defined as the increase in the inflation-adjusted market value of the goods and services produced by an economy over time. Statistics conventionally measures such growth as the percent rate of increase in real gross domestic product or GDP. So in his 2019 inauguration speech, President Joko Widodo elaborated the Indonesian vision of 2045 with one of the goals is to boost Indonesian economic and become the fifth largest economy. One of the problems that Indonesia are facing is over the regulation in the economy and business sectors, which hampering the growth of investment climate in Indonesia. As the solution to solve the over-regulation problem, the government have already drafting appeals of Omnibus Law Cipta Lapangan Kerja and Perpajakan, and this bill will replace the overlapping laws with the hope to stimulate the economic growth by creating new jobs and increase the ease of doing business ranking. And the urgency of this omnibus law is due to the low investment in Indonesia during Jokowi initial presidential term. Therefore, in 2018, the government of President Joko Widodo under the coordinating minister for the economic Darmin Nasution issued that the economic policy package to make it easier for investors to invest in Indonesia. And as we know, that nowadays investment is very important for the most obvious. The inflow of the foreign investment is increased state of taxing, and in addition, creating a more stable relationship within the economic sphere in the two countries. Thank you.
Okay, Vinta, thank you for your argument. So we move to the next speaker from opposition team, the leader of opposition, Iqbal Salman Abdurrohman. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. So I'm Iqbal Salman Abdurrohman now as the leader of opposition. So first, I want to rebuttal what Vinta said. So Vinta said that Omnibus Law will improve Indonesian economy with investment. So I do not agree with this statement because as we know, Omnibus Law has a lot of disadvantage from Indonesia worker. So I think the solution to improve Indonesia economic growth is not omnibus law, but we should make a new rules that can make Indonesian investor become more easy to make a regulation. So move on to my argument. So I don't agree with ratification of omnibus law bills because it can destroy the environment, ignores investment of the people and indigenous people who are considered more environmentally friendly. So omnibus law is fronted by 138 people from the government and entrepreneurs. And this is the centralism of authority in this omnibus law because it's made by government and environment and entrepreneurs. I'm sorry. So omnibus law can result in deprivation and destruction of people living space, and also will abolishing environmental permits, abolishing criminal sanction for administrative violation, and limiting community involvement. So I do not agree with ratification of omnibus law. Thank you.
Right now, let's hear May Vinta argument. May Vinta, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. So my name is Intan Sari as Deputy Prime Minister. So first of all, I will rebuttal the argument that said by the leader of the opposition. So he said about investor will enter Italy. So what's the problem? I mean, when the Italy, it will the job opportunities to our citizen who lost their job, especially because the COVID-19 pandemic. And so it will be a lot of the opportunities to the first graduate of the senior high school or say about the deprivation and destruction of people's living space, reducing environmental protection and management instruments. So I think it's not true because in the omnibus law also there are a word of the forest conversion plan that is already used by the community factory. So more than this, there is also like the engineering environmental in the factory. So it will think about how to reduce the pollution or the garbage that produced by the factory. And then also every factory have their garbage shelter. So it will not impact the environmental. I strongly agree with this motion that this House believes that this law ratification can greatly increase economic growth in Indonesia because a lot of reasons. The omnibus bill we agreed to encourage national economic recovery. The omnibus law will also bring Indonesia into a new era of the global economy. And then the job creation bill was aimed at solving various problems that hindered increased investment and opening up creation of the bureaucracy and licensing system, convenience for business actors, and a conducive investment ecosystem. The job creation to answer the growing needs of the workforce and convenience. For the labor booster itself, work creation also has a positive impact coupled with a large number of investors who turn to Indonesia. It's a employment reduced. And then there is also an element of equal rights in implementation of this work omnibus law. There one of them is stated on Article 61A, which is an attached article regarding the company's obligation to provide compensation money to contract employees or PKWT. In the article, it is stated that in this event, there is fixed time work agreement PKWT as mentioned in Article 61 above, paragraph 1, letter A, B, and letter C. The entrepreneur is obligated to provide compensation money to the worker or the laborer. So the compensation money, as referred to in the article mentioned above, is given to employees according to the period of service concerned. And the provisions will be for the provisions. And then referring to the previous law, law, namely law number 13 of 23, the end of the PKWT period, there is no obligation for the employees to provide compensation money as the stipulated in the work copyright law. So it is clear that in the Article 61A of the work law is very beneficial employees with non-permanent employment status. So in addition to providing the compensation money to PKWT employees who have ended their contract period, there is also an additional job loss benefit program like JKP organized by PP Jamsostek and the government, where the loss 20 benefit is regulated in Article 82, which is given in forms of cash. The job loss quality JKP is the implementation based on the principle of social insurance which aims to maintain the standard of life for employees or laborers who have lost their jobs. And regarding the source of funding comes from the initial capital provided by the government, the composition of the Social Security Program contribution and BPJS ketenagakerjaan operational fund. In addition, Article 82 of the work law also makes it easy for employees to access job market information and job training in order to make it easier for them to find jobs according their talent and interests. So I strongly agree with this motion.
Okay, thank you, my Vinta. Let's go back to Iqbal, Salman, Abdurrohman. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. So with me again, now I'm as member of oppositions and deputy of leader opposition. Now I want to rebuttal what the Mevinta said. So Mevinta said it will recover national economy. I do not agree with this because omnibus law is a lot of disadvantage for worker rights, like minimum wages and a lot of leaves that already in the law before not included in this omnibus law. So we are going directly to my argument about this. So there are 5 reasons why we must not ratify this omnibus law. First, I think omnibus law violate democratic principle regarding trias politica because in this omnibus law, president have authority to an extraordinary decree. So in Article 170, the power of president in the process of drafting legislation is singular and absolute. This is contrary with the article number 20, paragraph 1 of the 1945 constitutions. It is clearly stated that the formation of law is the authority of the DPR or parliament, not the government. So I strongly disagree with this because this is opposite of our democracy. So if we look again at the 2020 priority projectnas, so DPR is have 70%, the government is 80%, DPD is 2%, and by the DPR and government amount 10%. So DPR is must be the majority. However, if we legalize this omnibus law, this will be a lot of change in the 79 existing laws. So second, there is inconsistency between the problems diagnosed by this omnibus law. So this bill is designed as a solution to economic, but the funny part is this is counterproductive and destructive for economy. Why I can have this opinion? Because this bill wants to create employment opportunities, but the content is weakened and tend to ignore worker rights. So this is also can increase political risk if this omnibus law be legalized. So from this existing draft of this omnibus law, worker is treated to be below the minimum wages, and this can make Indonesia more even depressed in the next years or in the future. So as we know, in fact, Indonesia economic structure in household consumption is still the largest contribution to economic growth, where is 59.6%. So there are also negative impact from the investor if this omnibus law is legalized. So there are a negative note. So first, the potential for tension in Indonesia if this legalized. So this can make a disadvantage if there's political tension in Indonesia. The second, the level of consumption in Indonesia is it has potential to become increasingly depressed in the future. So I call this like a triple mistake. So first, the government mistreat the situations and misdiagnose, and after that, they put together a prescriptions. So move on to another opinion. So the third opinion is the purpose of this country was to protect all of Indonesian bloods. And this omnibus law will eliminate minimum wages, eliminate severance pay, trap worker in an outsourcing status for life, legalize and educated foreign worker in Indonesia, eliminate social security for workers, and facilitate layoff or cut off work relationship. So currently, the law currently is we have like menstrual leave, medical leaves, and another leave, but this is not included in omnibus law. So this is the aspect from omnibus law. So number 4, my opinion is the problem to be regulated in this omnibus law is not the main problem. If we talk about investment, okay, so this is make no sense. So because in the World Economic Forum, WEF, there is 16 factors that hinder investment in Indonesia. And the number 1 problem is corruption. And as you know, if this omnibus law legalized, it can damage Indonesia with more of corruption because president have a lot of authority and government have a lot of authority. So this corruption is including bribes, creditors, favoritism, and facilitation payment. Are the real problem obstacle of investment in Indonesia. So number 5, I want to state that there is anomaly in this because president said this is must done in 100 working days, but the omnibus law bill is 102,008 pages thick, and the academic manuscript alone is reaches 2,276 pages. How could it be finished in 100 days? This is impossible. So I see there is a dark background behind this bill, and the people that discussing omnibus law itself even ask for a commitment to not divulge its content according to authorized state institution. So I think there is a dark background behind these bills, and I strongly disagree with this. So for these 5 basic reasons, I will ask the government to withdraw the omnibus law on job creation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Salman, for your argument. So we move to the government whip. Vinta, time is yours.
Thank you for the time. So my name is Intan Sari as government whip. So first of all, I will rebuttal the argument by the deputy leader of the opposition. So you said that the implementation of omnibus law cannot protect their citizens. Is it not true? Because the maintain because this omnibus law will maintain the standard of life for the employees who lose their job, and also it will give the compensation money for the employee. And then the second, you said about the pregnancy right. It's also not true because the right to leave menstruation and pregnancy is not lost. So the right to live and get pregnant still refers to the labor law. Erlangga also stated that the law also regulates the adjustment of the working hour. So the working hour regulation is adjusted to the whether the industry is a digital economy. And then you said about the dark background or the secret behind this regulation. So I think you don't have data or research about that. So your argumentation is doesn't make sense or have a nonsense. But as the first speaker and the second speaker was said before that this omnibus law will give lots of advantage for our country, such as it will give like standard of life for the employees, and then also it will give the better relationship between two countries, and then also it will and also the advantage is not only for the it's not only for the government or the investor, but it has a huge of advantage first for Indonesian citizens who have not worked. The opening of the wider job opportunities will provide opportunities for those who have yet to find a job. And then for the employees, the regulation of increased protection for the employees as an effort to continue working in the places where they currently work. And then for the employees who have experienced layoff, there is an increase in rights in the event of the layoffs, as mentioned above, such as the compensation money of the PKWT employees, and then job loss guarantees, and easy easy access to the labor market information and job training, etc. And also just don't stuck in our country, but try to look for another country, such as in US, we as a developing country. So we have to, what is it? So we have to look for them who have a play or implement this omnibus law efficiency or effectively in their country. Because this omnibus law is don't give like a short-term advantage, but it also gives a long-term advantage for our country. And also it improve our economic system and also give job opportunities, etc. So I'm as a government whip strongly agree with this motion. This House believes that omnibus law petrification can rapidly increase economic growth in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinta. So we next to the last speaker of the opposition team, Salman Abdurrohman as an opposition whip. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you from the Times. So first, I will rebuttal Mevinta. What Mevinta rebuttal about me. So Mevinta said there is no dark background in here, and I have no evidence. So my evidence is that this law is made by government and entrepreneurs, and also it must done in 100 days with around 100 pages and manuscript 2000 pages. So it's very question mark for me. So I will state my conclusion about what I said before here. So I think omnibus law applies modern slavery through a system of legalization of wage below the minimum standard, hourly wages, expensive outsourcing contract work, and there are also will be criminalizations, repression, and state violence against the people, while the state grant immunity and legal privilege to entrepreneurs. So this omnibus law exclusively meant to prioritize the investor and corporation rather than democratic and constitutional right of the people. So the omnibus law has the potential to violate democratic principle regarding trias politica because it tends to strengthen president authority to an extraordinary degree. And on the other hand, this bill want to create employment opportunities, but it content weaken and tend to ignore worker rights. So I do not agree with this motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for pay attention in this debate session. Finally, we have in the end of this debate session. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.